Hi there, friend. You are listening to Desperate for Attention, and I am your host, Leslie Simon. We are about to embark on probably the last and final thought on Buzznet for a while. It's been a blast to revisit what I consider one of the most underappreciated and almost undervalued social platforms of the last 20 years and really dig into what made Buzznet successful and, more importantly, what made Buzznet fail. Before we get into some final parting thoughts about the blueprint that Buzznet built, I am just going to remind you, if you aren't already doing so, please subscribe to Desperate for Attention on wherever you get your podcasts. Turn your notifications on, leave a comment, and if you are feeling so inclined, toss a rating our way. As I have mentioned many times before, I love the look of 5 stars. It's just very clean and classy. If you are also not already following Desperate for Attention on social platforms, I advise you to do so. You can find us at Desperate for Attention Pod, especially on Instagram and YouTube. There's lots of fun stuff that I post over there, and I wouldn't want you to miss a moment of your favorite new podcast. Wait, who said that? Did you say that? Is this your favorite new podcast? I don't know where I heard that. I just heard that somewhere. So again, I promise this is going to be the last conversation we have about Buzznet for a very long time. So without further ado, which again happens to be a very popular first word in Wordle, let's dig into understanding the Buzznet blueprint. In our two-part series about the rise and the fall of Buzznet, we explored how a small music platform accidentally invented influencer culture and then got destroyed by its own success. But Buzznet's real legacy isn't just historical. It's the blueprint that nearly every social media platform has followed since, and usually without acknowledging the source. Today, in this Desperate for Attention bonus clip, we're examining the patterns, strategies, and warning signs that emerged from Buzznet's story and why they keep repeating across so many of the platforms that followed. Buzznet succeeded because it gave existing scene culture a space to flourish rather than trying to create culture from corporate strategy. The platform's early success came from understanding that communities need tools, not direction. This lesson has been validated repeatedly. The most successful platforms provide infrastructure for existing communities rather than trying to manufacture culture from scratch. Discord's community building features, Reddit's subreddit structure, and even TikTok's niche communities all follow this principle. But when platforms try to impose editorial control over user-generated content, just like Spinco did with Buzznet, online colonies reject the interference and end up migrating elsewhere. Buzznet's scene queens proved that audiences would follow authentic personalities across platforms and support them through various monetization strategies. They figured out brand partnerships, affiliate marketing, and personal product line years before these became standard influencer practices. But their success also revealed the model's requirements: constant evolution, platform adaptation, and treating personal brands as businesses rather than just self-expression. Side note, for more on the evolution of Buzznet's influencer clique, check out our bonus clip, Where Did All the Buzznet Scene Queens Go? Okay, let's get back to the main thread. The creators who thrived were those who understood this early. The outfit of the day posts that dominate Instagram, the carefully curated, artful feeds that drive engagement, and the methods of visual storytelling that generate millions in revenue, all of these formats were perfected by scene queens between 2005 and 2008. I mean, Instagram's entire business model is practically Audrey Kitching's vintage fashion taste values, and social status scaled to a billion users. The platform's emphasis on narrative construction, brand partnerships, and community building through carefully curated personal brands follows the exact template she established. Here's the brutal truth about social media's death spiral. Passionate users build something amazing from scratch. The platform sees huge dollar signs and floods it with ads. Then suits in boardrooms start making decisions based on quarterly reports instead of what actually makes the community tick. The real creators get completely fed up and jump ship to whatever's shiny and new. And boom, we're right back where we started, watching the whole mess repeat itself. Twitter's struggles under different ownership, TikTok's ongoing regulatory battles, Instagram's constant feature changes, Snapchat's pivot from ephemeral messaging to endless content feeds, Tumblr's corporate mismanagement and subsequent decline, Community's failed attempt at intimate audio only connection, and Be Real's gambit to solve authenticity through synchronized posting. All follow trajectories we can predict based on Buzznet's story. Brand partnership models still follow templates established by scene queens like Hannah Bath, Jeffree Star, and Audrey Kitching, who figured out how to monetize their vibe and style without destroying trust. The disclosure requirements, the balance between sponsored and organic content, and audience expectations around transparency all originated from their trial and error. But Buzznet also demonstrated how fragile user trust is. When the platform prioritized celebrity content over community features, longtime users felt really betrayed and pieced out permanently. This is a pattern that repeats itself whenever platforms make changes that contradict their founding values. Buzznet's scene queens discovered the central contradiction of the creator economy. Success turns sincerity into performance. Once your personality becomes your business, every preference gets filtered through commercial viability. This creates the authenticity paradox that every modern influencer faces. The platforms that understand this paradox, like YouTube's multiple monetization options or Twitch's community driven revenue streams, tend to survive longer than those that try to solve it through algorithmic or corporate intervention. Each new platform believes it can solve the problems that killed its predecessors, but few understand that those problems are inherent to the attention economy rather than specific to particular technologies. The twisted irony is that everything that made Buzznet magical, real connections, groundbreaking content, creators who mattered, became the exact ingredients for its downfall once jealousy, corporate greed, and platform hopping entered the chat. We're not just talking about balance sheets and user retention. We're talking about the kind of digital world we want to live in. Are we building spaces where people genuinely connect? Or are we just creating sophisticated advertising machines? Buzznet bet on humans first, profit second. That gave us something beautiful but broken. It's like trying to fund a viral TikTok house with Venmo requests and good vibes. Today's platforms flip that script. They're profit obsessed machines that happen to have people using them. Sure, the numbers look great, but you're left scrolling through a cultural wasteland where everything feels manufactured and nothing really feels real. The heartbreaking thing about Buzznet is that it didn't fail. It succeeded so completely that its DNA is now embedded in everything we use, but nobody remembers where it came from. When a platform invents features that become industry standard, those innovations get absorbed into the collective unconscious of social media. Instagram's aesthetic feeds, TikTok's music discovery, influencer marketing across every platform, they all trace back to what scene kids were doing on Buzznet 15 years ago. But the original often gets erased from history. Right now, as you're following someone purely for their vibe, discovering your next obsession through a random social media post, or buying something because your favorite creator swears it'll change your life, you're living inside Buzznet's accidental invention. They built the machine we're all still trapped in. And knowing the origin story isn't just nostalgia, it's pattern recognition. We keep chasing the same human needs for real connection and creative freedom, but every new platform trips over identical obstacles. It's like watching the same movie with different actors, which honestly sort of makes perfect sense in our endless reboot culture where everything old becomes new again, just with better computer graphics and worse storytelling. Buznet's rise and fall is proof positive of what happens when authentic community meets venture capital reality. And these aren't ancient history lessons. They're the foundation of every scroll, swipe, and purchase you make online. If you want the full story on how a bunch of emo kids accidentally built the creator economy before getting steamrolled by suits who missed the point entirely, check out our two-part series about the rise and fall of Buzznet, which further breaks down how this blueprint keeps repeating and maybe, just maybe, how we might finally break the cycle. Wow, wow, wow. I bet no one had talking this much about Buzznet on their 2025 bingo card, but I have really enjoyed taking a trip in the Wayback Machine, partially because it has just given me all sorts of incredible scene flashbacks that I haven't thought about in many, many years, but also it offered a welcome reminder of how much I appreciate that Buzznet ever existed. And while it's not a platform that often seems to be credited for all of the things that it instituted, maybe in a small way, this will help inspire current and future social media platforms to give credit where credit is due. And when it comes to the modern influencer economy, it's impossible to have any of those conversations without mentioning Buzznet. That is a wrap, I promise, on our Buzznet series. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, I also encourage you to maybe share this with your nearest and dearest, as I say. Do unto others as Taking Back Sunday has done unto you, and tell all your friends. If you aren't already following Desperate for Attention on your favorite podcasting platforms, please do so. Press all the buttons that make sure your notifications are turned on. Throw us a comment, leave us a message. If you're someone who lives on Instagram and YouTube, I'd love if you followed us. We're at Desperate for Attention Pod. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. We will be back soon with all new episodes of Desperate for Attention. But until then, I'm Leslie Simon. You are my favorite, and I will smell you later.